Cthulhu Jack.
With what's going on in the world of Hollyweird today, I knew going into this flick I would be on stable ground with director Jeff Nichols, whose low-key films for myself are always a joy to watch. I'm looking at you, Take Shelter.
There is a storm coming! Like nothing you have ever seen! And not a one of you is prepared for it!
Which I watched twice in one night, with a riveting performance by Michael Shannon, who collaborated with Nichols on this being their 6th film together. I'm talking about The Bikeriders from 2023, which is in theaters now. Inspired by Danny Lyon's 1968 photography book titled by the same name, which found Danny embedded with an actual biker gang from Chicago called the Outlaws from 1963 to 67. He wanted to record and dispel the idea of the biker motor clubs of the time being an unsavory group of cats. I'll let you be the judge. After seeking advice from Hunter S. Thompson, who rode with the Hells Angels, and researching his book, Hells Angels, The Strange and Terrible Saga of the Outlaw Motorcycle Gangs, and was urged not to go forth, Danny decided to hang with the Outlaws regardless. I'm glad he did. With this film bebopping around in time from the mid-60s up to 1973, we open with biker Benny, played by Austin Butler, who's wearing the wrong colors in a part of town that isn't welcoming.
You'd have to kill me to get this jacket off.
Jumping ahead to Kathy, played by the highly engaging Jodie Comer, who's our wide eyes and ears through this storytelling process, carried through with being interviewed by Danny. Her innocent perspective introduces us to all the characters in the club. I use the term characters loosely since these motor-driven, unkept fellas are a mixed bag of grease, spite, freedom, and downright thugs in some cases. Tom Hardy, who plays Johnny and is the creator of the Vandals Motor Club, rolls cigarettes between his lips like a kid sucking a lollipop. Being an avid motocross racer on weekends, he wanted something more.
All those clubs do is sit around talking about motorcycles. That's what we do.
So after catching the Wild Ones with Marlon Brando on TV at the time, a spark ignited and the Vandals were born.
So you're the man in charge.
I'm Johnny. We're the Vandals.
I don't want to go into too much because there's a lot to spoil here. The performances from all the characters are bathed in not only realism, but harken back to a nostalgic and volatile time where young men were trying to find their spot in the world during the Vietnam War in social conformity, with the drum of the counterculture movement beating harder and harder as the 60s wore on. A carefully selected cast of unforgettable faces that feels as if lifted straight from history. The Bikeriders is a film to absorb and ponder as a time far removed from today's norms. Hardy and Butler's performances are fairly subdued with a quality of sadness that permeates throughout. I'm looking forward to seeing this again and to hang with the Vandals for one last ride. So, if you enjoy a dive back into some old school storytelling with a nostalgic vibe that revs your engine enough to hop on that old hog and tear off through the open road, with the smell of leather and grease in the air, then this film might just be for you. Until next time.
What about the bar? Burn it down.
So click links below to be notified. Many thanks for the support, and Hail Cthulhu!